Alright, so welcome to I Have a Lot of Opinions. Today's episode is going to be dealing with something that I think about a little bit. I've been on a music kick recently, so today I'm going to talk about cover songs. Covers are one of my favorite things to listen to. I love it when a band takes somebody's original work and turns it into something of their own and turns it into something really cool. And I really respect a lot of older bands for laying down a fantastic basis for people to take their songs and make covers out of them. The Beatles are, I think, the best example of this. I love a lot of the Beatles' original work. I love Hey Bulldog. I love Eleanor Rigby. But I think that one of the best things that the Beatles did was lay down a fantastic groundwork for covers, because you look at, for instance, the Lemonheads version of Mrs. Robinson. There are a few different types of cover songs, or a few different ways that you can do a cover song, and I think each of them certainly has its place, but I certainly have my preferences. The first type is the easiest. It's just a straight-up cover where you don't change much. The only thing that really changes is the person who's doing it. This happens mostly during like live shows where you do like an impromptu cover of something, and it can be really cool. But they don't really bring a lot to the table, and they don't kind of build on the song, because they're not meant to. They're just meant to be like, hey, look at this cool callback. Any cover band will do that, because they're a cover band. They're trying to recreate the experience of the original band. And I think they can be fun, but at the end of the day, they don't really change anything, and they don't bring a lot to the table creatively. The next kind of cover is going a little further from that, where you take the original song and you change something about it, you make it your own. I mentioned earlier Propellerhead's Mrs. Robinson is a really good example of this. And it's you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's a really good cover by Within Temptation of Imagine Dragons' Radioactive. Which was fantastic. I remember discovering it one day on the internet, and I listened to it like 5 times that one day, and it's still on my playlist, and I think it's really cool because it takes the bass of Radioactive, which is kind of slow and plodding and not really going anywhere, and it ups the tempo, it adds some cooler like rock instrumentation, and this woman singer, and it's really, really cool, and I really love it. It's one of my favorite cover songs ever. The third type of cover, which is one of my favorite types of cover song, is where you take an original song and you do something just absolutely insane with it. You completely change it. If you can manage to do that while maintaining the soul of the song, it's really, really cool. Kelly Osbourne's version of Papa Don't Preach, which was originally a Madonna song, is an excellent example of this. I love that cover. I think Kelly Osbourne did a fantastic job of it, and when I first heard that, I just assumed it was an original. When I was told that that was a cover of a Madonna song, my mind was blown. It was insane. Another fun example of this that I really love. I'm sure that many of you have heard A Cruel Angel's Thesis, the opening to the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion. But have you heard it performed by the Japanese Air Force Band? Or, even better, have you heard it performed by the Glory Gospel Singers on Japanese television? These are things that the original people who came up with the song and the people who came up with that anime could have never envisioned. And I think that that's really cool, because they maintain the soul of the song, and they maintain the way that the song feels, which is kind of like weirdly poppy and upbeat, but they do something really, really interesting with it and really, really cool. And I really, really love it. I listen to those two versions of that song all the time, and I listen to the original version of the song. I think that a really good cover takes the original and adds to it such that you don't feel like, why would I listen to the original when I can listen to the cover? You want to feel like both the original song and the cover provide something interesting and unique to listen to. You don't just want to always listen to one or the other. I know that I certainly have my preferences with a lot of songs, a lot of cover songs. You know, I could always pick out, I prefer this cover, I prefer this original. The best covers are ones that add to the original without overshadowing it. Another great example of this is, say, Alien Ant Farm's Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson. Alien Ant Farm's cover of that is really cool, and it's really different from the original, which makes it such that listening to either one is an interesting, like, enriching experience. I don't ever feel like, well, why would I listen to Michael Jackson's original Smooth Criminal when I can just listen to Alien Ant Farm's Smooth Criminal? Because they're very different songs, but they maintain the same soul, which is really hard to do. Fall Out Boy did a great version of Beat It, another Michael Jackson song, which did the same thing. Like, it took the Michael Jackson original, put hard rock, pop punk stuff over it, and created an experience which was very different, but with the same soul of the original. I don't feel like their cover detracts from the original. My opinion of the original isn't lowered at all by the cover. So, that was just a shorter little video about cover songs. I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear what covers you think are great. I'd love to hear what you look for in a cover. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions, always feel free to leave them down in the comments. But I'll see you in the next video. Until then, think hard, think smart, and I'll see you then. Bye.